Alright guys, so as some of you guys know or don't know, there's currently a war of sorts going on between underground rap media pages on Twitter and Instagram. The main point of controversy revolves around gimmick rappers and the pages quote-unquote responsible for pushing them. In other words, some pages are claiming that others are polluting or harming the scene by pushing the once again quote-unquote wrong artists, and this sparked a much larger debate. So anyways, I'm going to explain to you how it all started, the different major posts, the internet's reaction, and of course give you my take on it all. So this kind of all started when Sam Can't Miss, he's like one of the biggest underground rap Twitter pages, posted a video of Laserdom in the studio on like one of Plaquemine Max's In the Boot streams, and he said, "I'll never forgive Tubman for making these gimmick beats a thing. Y'all ruining the culture." Now, at first, it was kind of just like it wasn't even seen as a Tubman diss. It was more so just a take on like the type of beats that Laser hops on. And I feel like I don't even need to play audio. You guys already know what I'm talking about. It like all like the fried or burnt edits on TikTok are made to them. You know what I mean? And they kind of are like gimmicky beats, but obviously, you know, Laser and made some good music on it. And here's what some people said. It was something new and creative back in 2022 to early 2023, but now it's overused by TikTok rappers and everyone's using them to make up for being trash. But immediately you could see there was some disappointment. Me when I'm dumb and I'm wrong. Obviously, like I was a little biased, but obviously he got a lot of pushback. For example, someone said, "Yeah, just unironically post Lil Too Posh, man." Now I'm not gonna lie, Lil Too Posh, he's like, I guess, kind of growing on me because I think some of his music is fun, but yeah, he's still pretty trash, and I would consider him a gimmick rapper. He has potential though. Taylor Malone said, "Me when I don't know what I'm talking about." Bro talking about Tubman like he Andy Warhol. People who say this got no clue about the dark plug scene. Not gonna lie, the dark plug scene is kind of dead. Tubman Underground is not as powerful as you're making him out to be, dude. Relax. Now, anyways, it was this little thing. Tubman didn't really respond, but then after the whole Dior vs. You and Destroy Lonely situation, Hyperpop Daily spoke out. And he kind of, honestly, this is like a great post because he explained the nuances among like platforms really well. He said, "I feel like depending on what social media platform you're on the most is where your takes on the underground will start to emerge. If you're on TikTok all day, you probably think Oh Santa 1am, TDF, Mask, Those Who Know are the faces of the underground. Instagram is kind of complicated because the Reels algorithm on here will purposely show you bad music to get you to engage with it on some rage bait vibes. So let's just say if you're rocking with Instagram the most, you'd probably be rocking with Too Slimy. And on Twitter, we still aren't calling it X. Yeah, we're not calling it X. You're probably in tune with the Skate Star Dior vs. Southside Silhouette scene. Literally every big Twitter page, it's all they talk about. It's unavoidable if you follow underground music on there. With that in mind, Dior vs. has become a pretty big rapper in the Atlanta underground scene." Okay, yeah. So he's speaking about something else there, so I'm not going to go on. But yeah, he said it very well. You know what I mean? Every platform kind of got its own like main thing. I don't know what YouTube's would be. I guess YouTube is just like regular. But yeah, on TikTok, oh my God, Slime Crew and like Bullymon, I don't know, that shit is just like crazy big. I guess there's also like, this is a little biased because like, I don't know, there's like a certain type of fan who thinks like opium is underground, if that makes sense. And they think that's like the biggest, you know what I mean? But anyways, what he said was honestly really true. Guy Lucas said, "Instagram pushes gimmicks and we push real music." Yeah, it kind of became like a platform war. Anyways, this is what also really sparked the debate. Days Within. Now, he said, "Not gonna lie, I changed the game on Twitter. Nobody was showing love to real music until I started my page. Yes, I have an ego, and pages like Tubman Underground and Hyperpop Daily are the reason horrible music continues to thrive." Now, you guys need a little context because this is where a lot of bias comes in. I'm gonna say on both sides, not just Days Within. Basically, Days Within has like a very like complicated and controversial like history as like a media page. It's kind of funny. So basically, he's like this whole like little like wave that's going on right now. Like Dior vs. You, Skate Star, Southside Silhouette, Rolling Thrax, Diamond, like Tesis, however you say it. You know, this whole thing, Days Within was like the biggest supporter of this. Like honestly, these guys would not be as big as they are right now without him. It's like no shot. You can even kind of group in Brennan Jones in there because he's like one of these like fashion rappers. But like he really has been pushing these guys from like the very, honestly, they all like owe him like bags. Like any of them signed, they gotta kick him back. It's like, bro, holy this guy was like promoting them like there was no tomorrow from the very beginning. The thing is, he was kind of biased, I would say, and questionable in terms of like how he like supported them. For example, Lifeless Garments, even though it was like pretty much proven that he was a P-word, you know, Days Within didn't really care and continued defending him for way too long after his allegations. And yeah, he got made fun of a lot for it and he kind of stood on it. But I will say he definitely did change the game on Twitter. Gotta hand it to him, just being real with you. Anyways, Nobel said, isn't this the guy that posted nothing but Brennan Jones for 6 straight months on some psyop and he just replied with a Brennan Jones snippet. Shout out Brennan. Brennan Jones clears your favorite rapper. Brennan Hart. He does have some good songs. But yeah, pretty much pretty soon this formed into like a divide between these big Instagram pages and big Twitter pages. Like obviously some Twitter pages take the Instagram pages. I don't know, just like a funny like little Twitter meme. I don't know if you guys remember Osa versus Mason, but I do. That show's pretty funny. Someone said, I'm team @SamCanMiss. Y'all better pick a side. And then Neater Keep posted, what side are you on? Gimmick rap or swag rap? Basically, the swag rap being that whole like Yo versus you, Satsutue, blah 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 that I explained, and gimmick rap being like I don't even know, like Laser Dim and Lil Tupac, whatever. And yeah, it's pretty funny. It's like that Civil War meme preset. It's really just different tastes, if I'm being honest. Tubman responded with, you need to get a job. That was like the clip. Someone said, worst tweet of all time. Unemployment at an all-time high right now. But anyways, after like a day of everything, Tubman Underground finally responded to everything, and he actually gave a very, very, very good response. I really liked it, not gonna lie. He said, I personally don't care about certain rappers being called gimmick rappers or whatever, but whatever prompted most of this convo is the fact that I think the term should be universal and apply to any rapper using gimmicks and whatnot. There are multiple ways to be a gimmick rapper, whether it be because the beats they're on are seen as gimmicky, or they're baiting some type of engagement through stuff like controversy, nostalgia, even performing sexuality, etc. These are all gimmicks. Some pages want to make it more of a division sort of thing, so they'll only use the term gimmick rapper for artists they personally don't like. I think that's pretty cringe and a biased way to go about things, because if you look at the scene as a whole, it's just not one side doing gimmicky things. If I was to give specific examples, I'd say one could look at Laserdib and call him a gimmick rapper for his beats, the same way one could look at Nine Vicious and call him a gimmick rapper for doing gimmicky things for engagement. Shouldn't be a divided thing. Ego also comes into play, I think, especially with, Nine Vicious is also part of that, like fashion, whatever, like Atlanta and you. Ego also comes into play, I think, especially with some pages, because it almost feels like losing when an artist they personally like can be labeled as gimmicky. It's almost like if a page only posts artists from one specific scene or side, they feel a stronger connection to it, I guess, but it results in them having a strong bias when it comes to convos like that. That really shouldn't be a divided thing at all, in my opinion. And he's basically talking about Dazed here, because Dazed really only posts one type of artist. I'm not feeding into the sides or division thing because I personally think it's cringe and moronic. I kept getting brought up because some want to push the sides thing though, and act as if I don't personally post a lot of different artists from different sides. He honestly does. Or whatever, I don't know. Nobody's forced to like every artist that gets posted. If anything, you should be forming your own opinions, but acting like I'm on one quote unquote side just seems stupid to me. Also, I find it funny how like he puts the tub emoji after like everything. Example of ego and bias. By the way, if you guys know, like you might just hear the sound in your head, like he'll like post like a statement or something, and then he'll end it with like the tub emoji, and then he'll have like the jump out sound. That shit is super funny. And then he said, example of ego and bias. Called out Dazed Within. Dazed Within once again replied with like the Skate Star music video. Sam Can Miss responded with the 1300 Saint music video. Igor said, I'm not reading all this, not gonna lie, but you're probably right. Gas Baby said, no way it got this deep. Blood fell for the bait. A gimmick, just something that gets you attention, so sort of a marketing technique. Gimmick rapper is the new mumble rapper. Damn. I'm not gonna lie, gimmick rapper just got coined like overnight. Like seriously coined. Anyway, Sam Can Miss held a 4 hours long Twitter space about the state of underground music. And I guess somebody said that underground sound manages Mario Judah, which I think is kind of funny. But there were some good comments here I want to read. I would say gimmick has multiple definitions. Yeah, the way they make music is a gimmick. It can be defined as a gimmick, but the way you show yourself or represent yourself is a gimmick. Example, 13 Degrees, probably one of the hardest guys out right now in Chicago rap, but his gimmick is that 2010s aesthetic. That's what he's known for, but he also gets hate for it. Somebody said, Days Within don't support a P-word challenge. There's been gimmicks in music since, like, I don't know, when the not even new. I will say there's a lack of originality, which is causing a lot of people to like quote unquote nostalgia bait, or I don't know, just like kind of fit into like a certain niche or whatever, and be less creative or rely too much on social media for exposure, which just makes them do things for like engagement, creates like gimmicky type vibes. Someone else said, you know you finna hear the best songs/music videos when you see it posted by these pages. Now this was posted yesterday, kind of unrelated, but like these were like all super, like I'm Saucy, Trap Daily, Perfect Plug, Wave Guide, No Jumper, Elevator, Lyrical Lemonade. God damn, man. That era of like YouTube like channels posting like great music was so cool. There's also like that hyperpop page vibe. There's so many, like I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, Overlook said blogs used to be unbiased. They would put you on an artist that were buzzing or on the come up, mostly from an objective POV. Now every single page/brand, at least in the underground, has an opinion. But to be honest, you have to. It's what people respond to most. But it's just that, an opinion. Take everything you see and read online with a grain of salt. And Flexico said, well put. Shout out Flexico. Super underrated. Dude Fail said, as a community, we can agree that Your vs. You sounds like Lone. Some songs I've messed with though. Stop blaming Tubman and HBD for gimmick rappers when HBK and Liggington, that's the guy that makes like those ringtones, started it. Gift Talk beats are good. Every rapper has a gimmick, so you can't categorize certain rappers because of it. I mean, I would say some rappers are like way more gimmicky than others. Like some things aren't really gimmicks, they're kind of just things that catch a lot of attention, you know what I mean? Gimmick rap, whole lot of cheese, too slimy, Gift Talk beats is low-key kind of the same thing as what those dudes who were making rap songs about anime 6-7 years ago were doing. Just cringe and over the top on purpose. I never had a Too Slimy song in rotation, but with his commitment to the bit and the fact that he seems genuinely sincere about what he's doing, even if it's objectively not good music. Modern day performance artist. Yeah, I guess you could say that. Shit crazy because even though he's at least he's not a clone of Thug and Lone and adding originality to the scene. I feel like some people place too much importance on like originality and being different. Like I'm not gonna lie, it's better to fit in the mold a bit more than being like completely in my opinion. But you know, there's a space for everyone here. Danny Kyoko, I don't know if I'm saying his name right. He makes music. He's like really active on Twitter. He said, people want to be brands and just be glorified stan pages. If you have fan page, just say that. A media page is going to cover everyone, not just who they mess with. And yes, this is at Days Within, and that's Sam guy. They be top tier eating, talking about their brands. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Someone else said, a huge reason why blogs don't push smaller or real artists on Instagram is because the algorithm just doesn't reward it. That's why a lot of blogs post bigger such gimmick rappers because the content hits. I'm not saying I agree with it, but that's a fact. You know, speaking about Laserdom, that's really why Laserdom like got posted so much and still gets posted. He's just like an engagement hub. Like I don't know, anything you post with them is just does well, especially on Instagram. They're like, you could post a video of like Laserdom eating at one point and it would blow up. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much to add to this, to be honest. It's pretty self-explanatory. I don't really think anybody's gimmick. I think all these pages are cool. Obviously, like Hyperpop Daily's been hated forever. Tubman's always getting a ton of hate. Days Within got a ton of hate. Sam Ken Miss gets a ton of hate. Gas Baby gets a ton of hate. They all get a ton of hate. So I don't know. Like I feel like this is normal to them. They're probably honestly like having a good time like debating this. Anyways, I'm gonna have my friend Sad Part speak on the situation a little bit. I feel like he's like the most gimmicky page of all time. So
yeah, bro. Sheer wanted a real expert on the topic and he just flew me out from Miami, Florida, bro. Just touched down. I'm here to talk about these underground page civil war beefs going on. It's interesting, bro. I don't know, like I'm not really even too tapped into what's going on. I mainly know Tubman Underground versus, you know, the Days Within thing or whatever, and obviously I'm Team Tubman. That's my guy. I don't even be on Twitter. I don't know anything that happens on Twitter. I don't understand. I've never listened to a Dior vs. You song. I've never listened to a Skate Star song, so you know, I don't care. Gimmick rapper, bro, I don't give a I don't care. Get a job. I don't care. Honestly though, I think a lot of people have issues with the whole homage thing. I think that's probably the main gimmick right now. Like rappers not, you know, they're saying, oh, I'm paying homage, but in reality they're kind of just ripping and like not being creative, which doesn't push the genre forward at all. I don't know if that's even relevant to the conversation today, but yeah, I don't know. Just post what you want, bro. And if you just think about it, bro, if you're a kid or some guy getting mad about what an underground page posts, just make an underground page and post whatever you want, bro. It's not that there's no barrier to entry. It's not like some like hidden elite level industry, bro. Like just do whatever you want. I don't understand how people get mad about that. Like you can literally make an Instagram in 7 seconds and make your own account and post whatever you want. So it's not really a thing to get upset about. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Check out Sad Part, guys. It's not an individual, by the way. It's a company. Okay, I'm a brand.
Yeah, all right, guys. Take care. Thanks, Sad Part, for hopping on. That was Red Sad Part. It's like the main guy, but peace.